Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I kind of want to do this little quick review thing of Rippaverse, Trinity Volume 1, because as you know, as someone who supports the Rippaverse, read most of the comic books that are out. I'm gonna throw my little 2 cents in, because sometimes there are things that I don't even agree with some of the choices that Eric has made with his work, but I'm still gonna support because yeah, as long as he keeps up the good work and keeps the books coming, I'm going to keep reading. I do know there are some indie comic book I want to get into. I just be forgetting to get them because I be having a lot of stuff or whatever, and Eric is like in my face, kind of like DC and Marvel, and I kind of think that's something that a lot of the indie publishers need to be. You need to constantly be in people's face or whatever. Or, for instance, I'm at AWA right now, as you guys know, Anime Weekend at Atlanta, and I would love to see some of these indie creators at conventions a little bit more. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you gotta go around the world or anything, but you know how Eric showed up at a few conventions in Texas because that's where he's from. I think that should be the same thing for like indie creators. Like if you're in Atlanta, okay, great, you show up to the Atlanta ones. If you're in Florida, show up at the Florida ones. Be on social media constantly. Just keep constantly being in the culture zeitgeist so people can see it, because I just feel like a lot of people just aren't around or whatever, and then you just see but sorry, some other child trying to ask for some money and shit like that. Like, get the fuck on away from me. Like, I don't understand that. Like, if you see somebody on the phone or whatever, don't come over here and ask for some goddamn money. Get the hell on. I'm so sorry. In the middle of that recording, just pissed me off. But anyway, you want to be in the cultural zeitgeist or whatever. But let's look at this Rippaverse Trinity Volume 1, and I'll give you my thoughts.
The Rippaverse launched with Item Number 1. Written by company founder Eric July. Illustrated by Cliff Richards. The book eventually would become a $3.7 million success. The following year, comic book veterans Chuck Dixon and Joe Bennett would join the team and create a $1 million success of their own with Alpha Core Number 1. And in 2024, the highly anticipated Yaira by the Saska sisters and Deborah Carita became the third Rippaverse property to make $1 million in total sales. Isom, Alpha Core, and Yaira have cemented their place as mainstays for this fast-growing indie publisher. Now you can grab our first ever collected works, the Rippaverse Trinity Volume 1. This 300-plus page book features Isom Number 1, Alpha Core Number 1, and Yaira Number 1. And Isom has been officially remastered with updated art from Cliff and colors from the new series colorist, Sebastian Cheng. Also, all 3 books have upgraded letters, so you're getting more than just a mere reprint. Head over to Rippaverse.com and order the Rippaverse Trinity Volume 1. Available as both a trade paperback and hardcover.
Okay, and that was the Rippaverse Trinity Volume 1. So, as you guys know, Rippaverse is releasing the Trinity Volume 1, but here's my thing. I don't think it should have been called the Trinity Volume 1. I know it's kind of a play on for DC, but the problem is Alpha Core is a team. It's not a single individual, so you wouldn't include a team with a group of people. When you're doing a Trinity in your comic book universe, you want it to be 3 characters that can stand on their own and be like, okay, here is the characters that are going to be. What I would have did for the Trinity characters, it would have been Isom, Horseman, Yaira, because you have a street level character, Horseman, right? Then you have a superpowered female character, Yaira, and then you have a superpowered male hero, Isom. And what you do is you have them be your Trinity. And honestly, to call this the Trinity collection doesn't make sense, because all 3 of these books don't really connect like that. Yes, they all showed up in Isom number 1, but afterwards, Yaira and Alpha Core don't really interact with Isom like that. You get what I'm saying? So like when DC did Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and then they did a whole Trinity collection. I mean, when they finally did a book called The Trinity, it was a storyline that included all 3 of them put together. You don't jump and call this the Trinity. What you should call this Rippaverse Volume 1, the Rippaverse universe Volume 1, because that way it has the first 3 comic books in there. But if you're going to call something the Trinity, I expect Trinity members. You don't put a team in a Trinity member because they're a team. You get what I'm saying? So you need to have those individual other characters. I feel like this is jumping the gun a little bit too soon. It's like, whoa, hold on. I get what you're doing, Eric, but let's save the Rippaverse Trinity for another 3rd member that stands out. Like, okay, we already got Isom because he's your main character. We get that. We have Yaira. I get that. But you need another character. Either it can be Bloodroot, it can be Horseman, it can be Zalis coming up. It definitely can't be Goodwing. And it can't be that. It can't be those detective characters. But you need to have 3 members, and then those become your Trinity. You get what I'm saying? Like when I'm doing the comic book, I would have 3 Trinity members that are not part of a team, but they can be in a team. You get what I'm saying? That's like putting Justice League in a Batman Superman volume. Okay, Batman, Justice League, Superman, and then DC says this is the Trinity Volume 1. Everybody gonna be like, what the fuck is that? Like, how does that work? How does a team that's already consists of characters in a team part of a Trinity dynamic? You get what I'm saying? I understand some people are like, oh, it doesn't matter, but I think, like, for me personally, looking at it as a comic book reader and just somebody who wants to like create, I mean, not, I want to see this universe go a little bit. I just feel like it's jumping the gun just to kind of get like, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Marvel and DC. Like, think about it. Marvel and DC both have their Trinities. Marvel has 2 Trinities, which is the first Trinity was Spider-Man, Wolverine, Hulk, right? Then the official Trinity now is Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. That's the Trinity of Marvel now. DC was Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Bam, there's your Trinity. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like with the Rippaverse, you have 2 members, Isom and Yaira, but you don't have a 3rd one. You can't put Alpha Core as your Trinity member because they're a whole ass team. It'll be different if Solaris, who's on the team, had a book by himself. Then you can maybe say Trinity, because he stood on his own. But because he's part of Alpha Core, he's part of a team. He's basically in a Justice League team. And since they're in a Justice League team, they're no longer included as a team. I mean, as part of a Trinity thing. I understand, I feel like some people are probably thinking I'm going a little bit deep into it. But I'm just saying, preferably, that's what I would have did. I feel like it's just jumping the gun a little too soon. But I am happy because people get to experience those 3 comic books in one volume in case they didn't feel like buying the comic books separately, bam, you have something like that. So I will say that's what I think some indie publishers should also be doing, because there's some indie comic books that I do like, and their books aren't that big, and I feel like, damn, I don't really want to pay $15-$20 separately. I'd rather you collect them all in a volume. That would make a little bit more sense, because if you're not even gonna, if your first book is not going to be like Eric July or a few of them where it's like 68 pages to 100 pages, then the least you can do is, if you already got issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 out, go ahead and collect them in a trade paperback. That way we can get volume 1 of this character. Because sometimes with the indie comic books, buying these books separately, especially when there's only like 23, 30 pages, it's just like, it's not really worth $15 to $20. That's just my personal opinion on that whole situation. But I am working on another Rippaverse video soon that I think it'll be really fun. That I don't know. I know Eric July's not going to pay attention to anything that I'm talking about or whatever, because I'm not being negative. Don't get me wrong. I love where it's going. Y'all already know I want Yara number 2. I don't even, honestly, look, Eric, I love your universe, but I'm just more interested in Yara than any other character that you got going on. Not saying that I don't buy the book, because I did buy Isom 1, 2. I did buy Blood Ruth and Horseman, which they're both coming together, because I decided to wait and get them all together, because there was an option of buying Horseman and Blood Ruth, and once the fulfillments are done, I can get both books at the same time. So I decided to wait and get both books at the same time. That's why you haven't seen me do a review of Horseman, because I don't have Horseman yet, because I did the bundle where I get Horseman and Blood Ruth together. Then I'll review them or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I can't wait to read Horseman and Blood Ruth. I think they're going to be really cool too. And then that upcoming character is Zalens. But what I want to know is, where the hell is the Nordics are at? Like, how you introduce them at the end of Isom and then we haven't seen them yet? You're doing that nonsense that DC and Marvel been doing, where they tease some characters and then we never see their asses again. Don't play with me, Eric. Don't play with me. I'm just saying, But those are my thoughts. What do you guys think? I am pretty impressed that he's collecting some books. So people who haven't brought Isom 1, Isom 1, Alpha Core, and Yara, you know what I'm saying? That way it makes it cheaper for some people. So I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.